You've heard the term the right stuff. It's that special something pilots like Chuck Yeager have. But where do they get it? Our Jay Jackson found out in this up-close report.
Test pilots and engineers are among the best pilots in the world. They have to be, because what they learn from testing planes and weapons systems can mean the difference between a safe flight and disaster. But the question now, who trains them? I found the answer at Edwards Air Force Base in one of the world's most coveted schools, simply known in the Air Force as Test Pilot School.
Let's do it.
Long before there were B-2 stealth bombers and satellite-guided smart bombs, somebody had to make sure they work. That's the job of test pilots and test engineers, an envied group of men and women who fly everything from Fighting Falcons to Screaming Eagles to this B-52 Stratofortress, which is one of the oldest of its kind. In fact, talk about history, this plane carried the first X-15 rocket back in the 1950s. But before any of these planes can fly, they need the highest caliber pilots, and those pilots more than likely trained at the elite Test Pilot School.
Well, we like to think of it as the premier test school in the nation. What you see on the footage in Afghanistan is the end result. That's the impact we can make to a war effort. You'll need at least 700 to 1,000 hours of flight time, which equates to about 5 or 6 years of operational flight experience before you're on our scope for consideration.
Still, there is a long waiting list to get into the Test Pilot School, a year-long, highly intensive school that is the Air Force's equivalent of MIT or Caltech. On any given day, you'll find pilots testing jets like this super-secret F-22 Raptor to this giant 747. This is the plane that shuttles the space shuttle back and forth across the country. All of it done at the massive Edwards Air Force Base near Lancaster. Right about now, this jet is about to take off, and what you're looking at is one of the most advanced jets in the world. It's not a combat plane, it's a test bed that can be flown like just about any plane you could imagine, from an F-16 Fighting Falcon, which it is, all the way up to a C-117 transport. Pilots say it's an honor to fly this jet. Captain Beth Ann Trapp is 1 month away from graduating from the program. That's why she gets to fly the one-of-a-kind jet. Trapp says that's all part of a chance you only get once in a lifetime.
Getting to test some of the latest and greatest stuff before it goes to the field is definitely exciting, and it's fun.
Fun, but dangerous. KCAL obtained this rarely seen training video. It's footage of an out-of-control jet, a test to see if a pilot can recover from a potentially deadly spin.
22.3, airspeed's about 44, going NASA modified, there's 5, neutral, opposite rudder. The R rate is picking up a little bit, and we're out of it.
And we found the aircraft to be unsatisfactory.
Before any of the pilots take to the air, they take out their pens and notepads and go to school. Most pilots and engineers already have graduate-level engineering degrees, but they find there's a lot more to learn once they get here.
You're talking about a very academically sophisticated bunch.
Major Andy Thurling trains the pilots and engineers in the air and in the classroom.
Sometimes in the academic world, they get distilled away from reality, and you start talking about things that, and you don't put that real-life perspective on it. And that's what we do here. We're sort of the finishing school for graduate studies in aerodynamics, I guess.
Now, this is a very important room here. It's the flight simulation room. As you can see, there's a lot of computer equipment around to monitor the flight simulator. But here's where all the action takes place. Come on inside. I'll show you. Now, this is the actual flight simulator. It's a little tough getting in here. I'll try and hurry up. But this is where all the pilots go, so they can learn firsthand what it's like to fly a jet without actually getting into one. Let's see if I can be a pilot. Well, not quite like an Eagle, but at least it didn't cost anything and nobody got hurt, which are the biggest benefits to this high-tech simulator.
it's a risk reduction. It's a way for you to know what you got before you put yourself on the line with it.
And that line extends all the way to the moon and beyond. So the next time you see that F-16 screaming overhead or the space shuttle helping to build the future, remember the pilots who risk their lives to make sure the high-tech vehicles work, and the pilots who make sure there are qualified people to test them. Now, the school has produced some famous names, such as Chuck Yeager, the first person to break the sound barrier, and Eileen Collins, the first female space shuttle pilot. Just to give you an idea of how coveted this school is, of the 200 or so advanced pilots that apply for the 10-month course, only 20 to 25 get in. Jay Jackson, KCAL 9 News.